On a rencontré Tom Holland et le réalisateur Ruben Fleischer à l'occasion de la sortie au cinéma du film Uncharted. Entre anecdotes et réflexions sur les adaptations de jeux vidéo, il nous parle de ce projet attendu de pied ferme par les fans. Vous le savez à force, Tom Holland incarne Nathan Drake. Mais le rôle aurait pu être confié à quelqu'un d'autre. À la base, c'est Mark Wahlberg qui devait le faire avant que Sony Pictures change finalement d'avis. En mai 2017, Tom Holland devient officiellement le héros du film Uncharted, et il a abordé le personnage de Nathan à sa manière.
In loads of different ways, really. Obviously, you know, the biggest part of playing the games or developing the character was playing the games and, you know, reminding myself of who Nathan Drake was. I wanted to, you know, sort of bring him to life in a way that pays respects to the games while also bringing something new to the character. You know, I didn't want to do a direct copy of who he is in the games. But it was a lot of fun and I hope the fans enjoy my decisions.
Nathan Drake version cinéma se base majoritairement sur Nathan Drake version jeux vidéo, même si Tom Holland s'est inspiré de nombreux aventuriers. On parle bien sûr d'aventuriers fictifs, mais pas seulement car la réalité dépasse bien souvent la fiction.
Greatest adventurer of all time. Wow, that's a good question. I don't know, you know, any of the people that have climbed Mount Everest or, you know, swam through the Mariana Trench, is that what it's called? You know, I think some of the bravest adventurers in the world are those incredible men that saved those boys in Thailand who were able to dive and navigate their way through 8 kilometers worth of caves to save these kids. I mean, that is the most adventurous and bravest thing I've seen for a very long time.
Avec ce rôle, tout comme celui de Peter Parker, Tom Holland semble avoir un objectif bien précis, celui de divertir petits et grands. Et ça fait d'autant plus sens en période de pandémie.
My main inspiration for this role was to help people escape. You know, I think this film is about exploration, and I think we've been living in a world where it's been very difficult to sort of escape the present day. So I hope that people can watch this film and spend a couple hours, you know, enjoying this idea of exploration and this treasure hunt.
Avant de parler de production, d'inspiration et d'adaptation, nous sommes JV, et nous avons eu envie de connaître le top 3 des jeux favoris de Tom Holland.
Would be Uncharted, it would be Skyrim, and Jak and Daxter.
On pourrait sans problème qualifier la sortie du film Uncharted au cinéma de miracle. Les débuts du projet remontent à 2008, il y a quasiment 14 ans, et son développement fut chaotique. On parle de 7 réalisateurs différents, dont Ruben Fleischer, qui en a hérité début 2020. Et malheureusement pour lui, ce n'était pas la fin des ennuis. Un certain Covid-19 est venu jouer les troubles faits.
This is not a very fun answer, but it's the truth. But our movie was due to start shooting on March 16th of 2020. And as we can all remember, that was pretty much the day that the world shut down. So basically, we had to stop production. We didn't shoot a frame. We went home for 4 months, not sure if we'd ever get to come back to make the movie. And then when we did finally come back, we were the first big feature film to be shooting during the pandemic, and it was a whole new experience for everyone involved. We had to wear masks every day, test every day, social distance, and just there was the stress and anxiety of having to work in a pandemic, which for everyone involved was very new.
Faut dire qu'Uncharted n'est pas un huis clos. Au contraire, le film implique de nombreux acteurs, des dizaines de lieux aux 4 coins du monde et des séquences d'action épiques.
I like the idea of the audience being on the edge of their seat. A friend of mine who is a director who I really respect saw Uncharted the other day, and he said that his biggest pet hate with these movies is that the stakes never feel high, and you never feel like the character is in any actual danger. But when he saw the sequence of Nate falling out the back of the aeroplane, he was on the edge of his seat, terrified, hoping that Nate would make it through the sequence. So for me, that is my goal, is to keep the audience on their toes and to satisfy them.
Tom Holland ne tarit pas d'éloges sur les jeux de Naughty Dog. La série Uncharted a clairement marqué sa vie de joueur.
I love the games. I think the games are fantastic. They're exciting and adventurous. The stories are compelling. The cinematography is out of this world. So for me, as a young kid who loves traveling, Uncharted is the perfect video game.
Sony Pictures aurait pu ne prendre aucun risque en adaptant tout simplement l'un des principaux titres de la saga, à commencer par Drake's Fortune. Mais ils en ont décidé autrement. Le film Uncharted est un préquel au jeu, et le réalisateur nous explique pourquoi.
I find that video games are so immersive. When you play them, you feel like you're starring in your own movie. And I feel like part of the reason that sometimes video game movies don't live up to the original source material is because playing a game is so active, and then watching the movie is so passive that it can never compete with the experience of playing it. So instead of just doing a recreation one for one of the game to the screen, we decided to tell a chapter of Nathan Drake's story that fans have not seen in the games.
Par contre, la présence de certaines séquences directement issues des jeux peut surprendre. Nous pensons à celle de l'avion qui se retrouve donc en même temps dans Uncharted 3 et le préquel. Comment justifier un tel choix d'un point de vue narratif?
So in making the movie adaptation of Uncharted, we wanted to take inspiration from the video games, but not just copy them directly. So I thought it was a really cool idea to take inspiration, to have something familiar, but then to also have the opportunity to build completely original set pieces like our incredible third act where we have this boat battle, which is something I've truly never seen before in a movie, and I was so excited to get to bring it to life.
Le piège avec un tel projet serait de faire du film Uncharted un jeu vidéo privé de gameplay. La saga Uncharted est hautement cinématographique dans son ADN, elle emprunte de nombreux codes au cinéma, se les réapproprie pour finalement créer son propre langage.
There's a funny full circle thing happening with Uncharted because the video game itself was inspired by the adventure movies and that genre of treasure hunting films. And that's what they based the game on. And now we're basing our movie on a game inspired by movies. So it's come full circle. But it's really nice because it plays off of all the things that we love out of those films, which are great characters, some exciting action, really fun character relationships, and of course, an incredible adventure finding the gold.
La saga se distingue par de nombreux aspects qui sont pour beaucoup empruntés au cinéma. Réaliser une telle adaptation commence par une compréhension de la franchise et du genre avant d'en extraire l'essence.
I was very lucky to get asked to direct Uncharted because it's based on a video game that I've loved for a long time. And so one of the signatures of the Uncharted video game are its incredible action, and another is the great sense of humor and comedy that exists, which is really distinct for a video game. Typically, they're not, very funny or filled with great characters. And I was lucky that Uncharted, I think the reason it's so beloved is because at the center of it are these two characters, Nate and Sully, who are an odd couple who go on these adventures together. So I felt very lucky to have the opportunity to bring it to life on screen, and especially considering that I was starring Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland, who are both so great at playing those roles.
Sans surprise, Uncharted, le film est une extension des jeux. Il en reprend le ton, les visuels, le sens du voyage et de l'épique. Mais ce n'est pas tout. Les inspirations de Tom Holland sont multiples et sortent du cadre des jeux développés par Naughty Dog.
In so many different ways, a lot of the video games is the inspiration for the character and for the film and the aesthetic, the cinematography, the globe-trotting adventure. So, there was huge amounts of influence taken from the games. But then also we took influence from films like Indiana Jones, James Bond, The Mummy, and things like that. The Goonies was a big one for Ruben, I know.
En parlant du réalisateur, entre deux références communes avec Tom Holland, il évoque les années 80 et de nombreuses licences cultes qui ont fait et font encore aujourd'hui l'histoire du cinéma.
There's so many movies growing up in the 80s that made a huge impression on me. The most obvious one is Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is without a doubt my favorite film. However, there's plenty of other movies that we drew inspiration from, including Star Wars. There's a real echo of the Luke and Han relationship in our movie. The Goonies, I think it's hard to ignore. We pay a lot of credit to Mission Impossible and James Bond with their incredible action sequences and also their incredible locations all over the world. And then finally, Treasure of the Sierra Madre is a movie that I personally took a lot of inspiration from because it's about the quest for gold and how that greed for gold can corrupt you.
La mode est aux univers cinématographiques étendus et Nathan Drake, de par son aura et ses ambitions, pourrait explorer le monde aux côtés de Victor Sullivan un peu plus longtemps que prévu, en jeu vidéo avec la rumeur insistante d'un 5e épisode principal, mais aussi au cinéma.
So our movie ends with a post-credit sequence suggesting that Nate and Sully will carry on with more adventures, but ultimately it will be the audience decision whether or not we get to make any sequels. I'm praying that they love the film just as much as I do, because we would be thrilled to make more of these Uncharted movies, but ultimately the fans will decide.
Tom Holland a incarné deux héros de la pop culture, Spider-Man et Nathan Drake. Il a également fait montre d'un certain côté obscur dans The Evil All the Time, et quelque chose nous dit qu'il aimerait explorer un peu plus ce côté obscur.
Yeah, I would like to play the bad guy when the time comes and the right role, presents itself, then I'll take on that challenge. But at the moment, I haven't been given any opportunities to play the bad guy yet.
La valse des adaptations de jeux vidéo n'est pas prête de prendre fin. Ruben Fleischer travaille d'ores et déjà sur une autre franchise développée par Naughty Dog. Tom Holland serait même impliqué dans ce projet.
Yeah, Jack and Daxter is something I'm working on. We have a great pitch and we're in the process of writing the script. The hope would be that we would get to make it sometime soon, and I just feel so lucky to be working again with Naughty Dog and PlayStation, the develop of another great movie franchise.
Tom Holland et Mark Wahlberg vous donnent rendez-vous au cinéma à compter du 16 février 2022. Retrouvez toute l'actualité autour de la saga Uncharted sur JV.